the sunshine shade, the trading ranch where the bold hearts stay. Market mavericks riding every day. Yeehaw, the stocks don't sleep at night. We lasso gains in the pale moonlight, wrangling dreams with a fiery spark on the trading ranch. We leave our mark. We saddle charts like a wild Mustang. With every swing, it's a brand new bang. The bulls and bears try to take their shot, but the Mavericks here give it all they've got. Yeehaw, the stocks don't sleep at night. We lasso gains in the pale moonlight, wrangling dreams with a fiery spark on the trading ranch. We leave our mark. The winds may howl and the prices sway, but we ride on through the break of day. No gold rush here, just the grit and grind. Market mavericks with a sharp-edged mind. Yeehaw, the stocks don't sleep at night. We lasso gains in the pale moonlight, wrangling dreams with a fiery spark on the trading ranch. We leave our mark.
Good morning, folks. Let's get over to the charts. I'm going to start here. We can kind of look at the pretty chart while I go over the overnight news. Actually, we might need to go look at the crude while I do this, because though I keep kind of talking about crude. Yesterday I was saying I was looking for it to stay below 100 to help the market move higher, and it did. It's still making new lows right now. So I guess before we get into the full news, let's see who's here bright and early. I know we've had a lot of people rewatching because I've been watching the stats. Like 2/3 of people are hitting the replays, but I love that. That's why I've been doing these as early as I can, so we can get the replay and everybody can get the info. So good morning to Andy R and Ski Trader. You are awesome. Thank you. You are too. That's a great screen name. Good morning to y'all. Thanks for being the first ones here today. I'm not feeling great. You can probably hear it, but we're gonna power through. I still got some good info. So the oil prices are down, and that is still based on the ceasefire agreement with the US and Iran. So we're now below, we kind of lost that 95 area yesterday. We're below the 95. So that's kind of the next resistance now. There was support, became resistance. That said, there's a little bit of instability in the ceasefire. I guess that's the best way to mention that. So we do need to kind of, that's still the theme. The theme is the situation with the Hormuz and Iran and the negotiations and the ceasefire. So we've had a lot of really nice moves on the indexes. This is a 5-minute. Let's go out to the hour so you can really get a sense of it. I mean, basically, our group has just been buying the last couple days, just been going long, and it's been working out really, really well. And that's, you know, because we've had these negotiations supposedly going well, but we have a ceasefire like in principle, It's not a done deal yet. So that's why there's instability. So will we kind of get a move lower? It's definitely still volatile over there, that whole situation. So given that context, we have to be a little bit careful pushing these highs. We do have the VIX around 18. That's low for the Trump environment, I guess is the way to put it. Speaking of the VIX, I have a video coming out lunchtime today that took me a whole month to edit just because it's awesome. So y'all should watch it. I covered way more than I planned to. I planned to do a quick little 5-minute video. It turned into a 20-minute masterclass on the VIX. It's like everything I know about the VIX. So watch that one later. It'll have a lot of good tips into it. But one of the things we're looking at is when the VIX is lower, the expected move gets a little bit lower. Of course, our expected moves have been massive lately anyway, so it's only 130 points on ES today. Let's take a look at that chart. So, I mean, obviously we've been bullish, but like I said, like it's kind of a bullish move that's a little bit fragile. So there's, well, let me squish it a little bit more. There's our move Monday. There's our move Tuesday, really just straight up. We had our line in the sand down here around 80 or 68.70. It's not really, I mean, obviously we're bullish above this anymore. So it's not so much a line in the sand, but that is an important level. Some other things that I kind of adjusted is I kind of created zones up here around the 69 up to 69.75. And then here from the 90 up to 95, these are kind of setting up to look like zones where it's not going to hit the levels real cleanly and efficiently. So I'm kind of planning around that. So if we have any update on the Iran situation, those are the news headlines that I'm going to be paying the most attention to. We do have 𝗏𝗏𝗁 that's technically still in beta, but it's doing a really good job of posting the headlines in the Discord if you want to watch for those there. There's a 𝗏𝗏𝗁 news channel, and we'll be posting those in there. We don't have a ton of catalysts today. Let's go talk about the catalysts, and then we'll get back to the levels. I'm starting to add these on the ranch calendar, but they're not all on there yet. So we'll take a look at Forex Factory. So yesterday was the big one. We had Trump this morning, and then we have some other things going on today. What's not on this one, because I have it filtered out, is we do have Beige Book today. Should be on this one. So Beige Book will come out at 2 o'clock, and that's going to be all the Fed governors' opinions, more or less, or reports, not necessarily opinions, is there reports on what's going on in their individual jurisdictions. And that's going to feed into the FOMC that we have coming in a couple weeks. But right now, the thing is, like, we had a slight chance of the rate being raised, and now they're expecting it to hold steady. So that's kind of what I expect to come out of Beige Book, is kind of insights into why we're most likely to keep the rate steady at the FOMC meeting at the end of the month. So let's get back to charts, knowing that there's not a lot going on today. We do have, well, this should have updated with that figure, right? We had the Empire State Manufacturing come out, and then we have unemployment claims that would come out every week on Thursday. So not a ton going on with the news catalysts. Okay, so back to the charts. That kind of puts us where we are right now in the middle of the 69.90 up to 69.20 is basically kind of the range that we're in. So we'll talk about the upside levels and then kind of the trade setup, I guess, for that. But first we have this overnight high. It's still kind of holding there at 70.18. And then let's make that white so it's easy to distinguish. Pre-market colors. And then our overnight low there at 91. So like I was saying, because in my head it's kind of that 90 to 20 area, but we do have those key kind of triggers there. If momentum is going to continue extending to the upside, the main levels I'm looking at, we had this all-time high from the previous contracts that just expired on the futures. This was the technical all-time high for that contract. What happens when we roll, especially, you know, TradingView is going to do this for you. You end up with an adjusted all-time high. I like to mark both of those on my charts. So the adjusted all-time high, when they do the factoring for what the gap was between the contracts, that puts the all-time high up at 70.9650. But I also really want to watch the 70.43 level. I think it's going to be important. And a lot of times the way the all-time highs work, even if it's this contract one like this, is we tend to sweep them and be kind of messy. So this is another one that really is going to be a kind of a zone 40 to 50. I haven't drawn it on there. Otherwise, we could really start squeezing. I do think we have a calculated quant in here. I didn't pull it over yet. Around 70 that might kind of put the brakes on us. But again, this is a calculated level and not a technical one. So if we start squeezing, that might be more, well, when we're on the smaller time frames, you see these little consolidations and bull flags. So that would kind of be what happens there before it continues squeezing up there. However, let's take into account that we are very, very bullish. It's been getting kind of extended. These little tiny red candles are the only thing that's been put in bearish literally this entire month. This bull run started at the end of last month. So we do need to be a little bit cautious with the longs, at least kind of running out of momentum up here, even though we do technically have room to go into the 43 and technically the 70 and really up to that all-time high if we got squeezing hard. You see how that would kind of be equal to this move over here. Yesterday was a big push though. So that would be a lot if we continue pushing for a third day to go hit those extended targets. So I'm also kind of watching the downside targets today. The first support we have is really kind of where we are around the 69.90s. And then we have this next zone, 69.70 up to 75. And then the major support is going to be all the way down here around our breakout point. So this area down here, if the bears get going, you know, their key kind of target would be to get price back down this way. Sorry, I was getting a message about kid stuff I had to pay attention to real quick. So that's kind of our main downside zone target there if the market wants to retrace. That would be retracing all of yesterday though. So if the market wants to stay bullish, it might just kind of do a liquidity check, kind of check down here to this 60. So let's kind of talk about the individual trade setups and how we could potentially trade that. What's up, Sean C? Don't worry, I'm getting in your DMs. Don't worry. 𝗕𝗏𝗁, what's up? KJ, Miss K, Tony B, Drive Fire, thanks for joining and giving a shout out. Appreciate y'all joining me early in the morning. All right, let's talk about how to actually, where some of the trade setups could be. If you trade with us live in the Discord, you know, a lot of times we're looking for entries based on order flow. But especially when we're between orders, we're going to use that. When we're at levels, sometimes it's a lot more clean. So if you don't have order flow and things like that, this is kind of the traditional way to look at that. But so one of the triggers could just be if we break this pre-market high at 70.18. And then my main target off of breaking that high would be basically the 70.40 because I want to come in before that technical all-time high since things tend to get messy around those areas. I do want to keep that real tight. And I've been more conservative. Like I didn't get this whole run yesterday because I took my profits and moved on with my life. And so that's kind of that same move that I'm looking at there. I want to get more of the sure thing. I didn't expect this big of a push after this big of a push the day before. And so it's the same thing. I just want to get that easier play. And if I can leave a runner, great. But I can't always do that. So my focus is on getting the meat of that play. There is a little chance that we could kind of run some liquidity up here and then fail back lower. So if we're going for the long, we need to be real conscious of that failure. We don't want to have stops all the way back down here below this. That's bad risk to reward. We want to be able to really see a burst through there and have our stops really tight. Because the other trigger is if we sweep liquidity up here through the 70-20 area and then come back down and it can't hold, then that's going to trigger a short, or we can come back down to the bottom of the range for the first target. And then if that continues to flush, I'll be looking for 75 to 70. Again, if we keep pushing through, that's going to be, it's more likely to happen on a negative news headline that we don't know about yet, in order to get us all the way back down to the 69.50, 69.30, that area. So one of the other things that we need to look at in order to make this trade make sense, and I'm going to go back over to this one, is the crude chart. So a lot of times we're looking at VIX and the dollar, and those are still good to watch. But because this is a Middle East problem and oil is very reactive to everything that's going on around here, sometimes oil is kind of a better sign. So I was watching this yesterday, crude just pushing lower and lower and lower, and this was helping me hold on to longs a little bit longer yesterday. So this is another really important one to watch. The other chart that I wanted to bring up real quick, because I'm trying to bring some options plays to y'all. This one we came up with on Voice yesterday. We were looking at the earnings that are coming up in a couple weeks. And I'm going to use this as an example if you want to go kind of look for some of your own homework. But I look for anything that is potentially breaking out pre-earnings or at a low spot to buy for a reversal or something like that for pre-earnings. At any sort of little play where I can get on the right side of it at all in the week or two before earnings is going to have an IV push. I just need to pay attention to it and make sure that I get out before earnings unless I'm willing to give up all of the premium and potential profit. So this one we bought before it was a 105, so it was hitting this breakout yesterday. We bought this. It's never gone negative. This pullback up here, we went from like 65% in profit down to 50% in profit. So that one's looking pretty good. I didn't get even filled on as much because it broke out so enthusiastically. So this is another thing that we can start watching. Right now we have the banks. This week is all about banks, and then we're going to have a lot of the big tech heavy hitters in a couple weeks. So these are the kind of plays that I'm looking at on tech right now also. Well, luckily Diddy's not using the motor oil. That would be weird. All right. So on that note, did I miss anything? I think I hit all of the things. I wanted to show y'all crude. I wanted to show y'all the VIX and the levels. So I think we kind of got the plan. This is the hourly, so you can see the VIX coming right down with the market, and the dollar too. So if either of these start climbing higher, that's a big warning. So that's another way that you can kind of watch these. I'll give you one last little tip before I get out of here. The other thing that I've been really watching during the day is the tick index. I do have a video on this, but it's older. This is watching all of the stocks on the New York Stock Exchange, if they're going higher or lower. If we're at an extreme low, it's got nowhere to go but up. And so sometimes we're opening at these extremes or hitting these extremes in the middle of the market, and then I can either book my profits or look for an entry when we're at these extremes. This is something I used to use a lot, and then it wasn't syncing up as well for a little while, but lately it's been giving me some really good kind of signals there. So there's the last tip on that one. And then I'll remind you before I go that we do have a really good video coming today on the VIX. And it's basically everything I know about the VIX. There's not a video like it on YouTube that I'm aware of. So check that one out when it comes out. And we'll be able to get some more plays going on that. So I know we have a group joining live in the Discord to trade in just a little bit. I might be late to that. I'm not feeling real great today. Otherwise, I know that they're going to take care of y'all because there's been a lot of money made in that chat lately. So I will see y'all over in the Discord in a little bit once I kind of get regrouped here. And I hope y'all have the best trading day ever. I will see you soon.
Saw a dead cat bounce, thought the comeback was on. Threw another 1,000 at the break of dawn, but the bounce was a lie, just a cruel quick trick. Now my account is looking sickly and stick thin. All the food was real, all the doubters were right. Now the bears are dancing in the pale moonlight. Huddle left in me, no fight in my soul, just a single God as I lose all control. God wrecked you, God wrecked my whole presidential pale. The broker's calling, the margin's on the line, telling me it's over, this ain't a good time, this ain't a hobby, this is a sickness, a curse, from the penthouse of my dreams to an empty purse. Yeah, I got wrecked, still worked out financially wrecked. Backholder life ain't nothing to protect. Got wrecked, yeah, got wrecked. Guess I'll see you on the next pump, maybe, or not. Sun's up.